Hey there everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Rama, and in today's video, we are going to be taking a look at a supercar that was once in the top 10 of handling, and still sits quite comfortably in the top 20. It's known as the Pegasi Tempesta. Right now, it is $797,000, as it's 30% off from the normal $1.3 million price tag. In today's video, I'll be purchasing this car, showcasing all the upgrades it has to offer, and why this is actually an absolutely amazing car to get your hands on. Even honestly without the discount, this is one of the cheaper supercars available, and especially if you want a very good bang for your buck, a fantastic car. So let's get straight into it. At first glance, the Tempesta is a pretty mediocre looking supercar, and you wouldn't really think much of it if you saw it just like this driving down the street. But I can tell you for a fact that when we are done upgrading this vehicle, it is going to be completely transformed into a different supercar, one that looks just amazing. So let's get straight into the upgrades. Starting off, we have armor, we have brakes, just the normal stuff, and then we got some bumper upgrades. Now obviously I'm just going to do the carbon splitters with canards, which actually looks pretty nice, I'm not going to lie. We also got the roll cage, and that looks okay. I'm not always the biggest fan of roll cages, but you can barely even see it, so it doesn't matter all too much. We got some exhaust options, and when I say some, I mean literally you have either the stock exhaust or the dual exit. I'm actually going to stick with the exhaust. I think the hexagonal looks better because it is a Pegasi, which is also kind of angular designs. Now, there are a lot of hood options. While there aren't a lot of other options, yeah, the hoods, there's actually quite a bit. So we got the performance hood, which doesn't really change anything. It's just got like a bit of an indentation if you look really closely. We've got the carbon performance hood, again, not much of a change. Then we've got the aggressor hood, which is honestly kind of cool. Then we got the twin vent hood, the high performance hood, and the carbon high performance hood. Now the twin vent hood looks awesome. This is definitely one of my favorite hood options, and it's one of the options that I run on my other vehicle. But because I want to be a little different, we're going to run the high performance hood on this car with the carbon intakes, which I actually think looks really nice. We're going to do the xenon lights because it looks absolutely sick, and let's make our way over to the license plate. Obviously we're going to make it black, and holy, that is the smallest license plate I've ever seen. That's actually funny as heck. Alright, so now we make it to the paint job options, and this is obviously where the car is going to stand out. Alright, I've decided to go with a Torino red. Originally, I was going to do a wine red secondary color, which I do think looks very cool, but honestly, after going out in the sunlight, I just think it looks better to have this car as one solid paint rather than having two separate paint jobs. I don't know, I just think it looks better. So that is what we're going to stick with. Let's see what roof options we have. Okay, that's not really a roof option, that's just an antenna. Okay, well we got some skirts. We're obviously going to go for the street skirts, and we do have some spoiler options. So we got a high-level GT wing, which doesn't look the worst, but definitely not nearly as good as the Carbon Wing Type 2. That spoiler looks sick. We also got the Carbon Wing, lame, and we also have the GT Wing, which I actually might go with, and honestly, the Tuner Wing looks pretty sweet. I already have a Tempesta, which currently has the Carbon Wing Type 2, which I think looks amazing, but because of that, I'm going to stick with the GT Wing for this specific build, so it's a little bit different. Let's do the transmission, turbo, and I already like the wheels on the car, so let's just tint those windows, and we're fully done. Now, something that I swear this car doesn't have an upgrade for is, weirdly enough, the suspension. I actually did not see that you can lower the suspension at all, which is actually kind of funny now that I think about it. But here we have it. This is the Pegasi Tempesta. It came a long way from what we first saw with its black paint job, and yeah, this car just looks amazing. We can see here both of my personal Tempestas. I'm gonna be real, I still think my original design is a bit better. I like that front hood better, and I also think that that paint job just looks quite a bit better than the Torino red, but I obviously wanted to differentiate these two vehicles to showcase the different upgrades that you can put on your personal Tempesta. Honestly, both of these cars look pretty similar, but they're distinct enough not to be identical, and again, I just think this car looks so cool. The front design is incredibly aggressive, and it's also really fast looking. And when you add that into the fact that this is actually quite a high performer, yeah, the Tempesta is a really good car. Now that we're done upgrading and customizing the Tempesta to showcase just what a cool vehicle this thing is when it's fully kitted out, we're going to talk about its performance and handling. I'll be real, when it comes to top speed, it's pretty meh. It only goes 121.25, which is honestly pretty slow for the sports category nowadays, let alone the supers category. It's ranked almost in the 50th place slot out of the 58 cars. But to make up for that, the Tempesta features the 21st best lap time for all the supers in the game. That's actually pretty impressive. It means that you'll still have pretty close competition when it comes to any handling or corners, even to some of the better supercars in the game, especially when you realize it doesn't have that good of top speed. For the price tag of only 800 grand right now, or even 1.33 million at the full price, I actually think the Tempesta is just a really good car to get your hands on in general. So, to showcase its handling, we are going to go down the course in front of you. We got the city driving, then we go through Vinewood Hills, we got a lot of curves and corners, and we finish off at the biker gang. Alright, well, we got a 4-mile journey ahead of us, and let's see just what the Tempesta can do! Full speed ahead! Now, the first thing I should say about the Tempesta, and probably the major reason why this car is so good, is down to the fact that it's all-wheel drive. This gives us some major advantages over a lot of other cars in the game that are rear-wheel drive. First of all, we have grip. While the Tempesta does actually have kinda sus grip when it comes to all-wheel drive vehicles, it still has much better grip than obviously a rear-wheel drive counterpart. When rolling around corners, all 4 of the wheels are powered rather than just the rear 2. It means that you can basically just apply full power when rolling around a corner and not really worry nearly as much about losing grip unless your car just has kind of crappy grip to begin with. Add that into the fact that the Tempesta is obviously going to have much better acceleration than a rear-wheel drive car as well, because of the fact that you're applying all of that power to 4 wheels again instead of 2. So those are already 2 massive advantages. The final one is the fact that you've got better braking potential because all 4 wheels are using the brakes rather than just 2. That car there almost caused us to crash. But as you can see, we've very easily been able to make our way all the way through the city and Vinewood Hills. Now we have the downhill area, and this is obviously where having good handling, and you can see really good handling from the Tempesta, is going to help you out massively with lap times and overall GTA Online usage. So let's roll around this corner here. Even though there was a car in our way, I mean, look at that, still easily cutting through that corner. We're going to hug this one tight and not even rolling into the other side of traffic. I mean, this is what the Tempesta is known for. It is just such a good car on handling. And the acceleration is also fantastic. So even though you don't have that high of a top speed, you always accelerate up to the top speed. So I'm actually a massive fan of this vehicle's handling. I would rank it a solid 9 out of 10. It's obviously not like Krieger or Emerus levels of handling, which are definitely 10 out of 10 levels there, but it's still very solid for a vehicle that's been in the game for quite a long amount of time, and a vehicle that really doesn't have anything insane going for it apart from that handling. So this is the Pegassi Tempesta, a vehicle that I personally think is absolutely amazing to look at. And again, as I said earlier, the price tag for this vehicle is incredibly cheap. This week it's only $800,000, and just in general, the vehicle is only around 1.3 million. When you think about it, that's kind of just a steal in my eyes. The car's got great customization, it's a really good beginner car, and even if you're a player that has a lot of money, this is a vehicle that is not bad at all when it comes to performance. So let me know what you guys think about the Tempesta in the comments down below, if you agree or disagree with my take in today's video. But at the end of the day, it's GTA. Spend what money you want on whatever cars you want. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!